closest to our body, about 8 inches from our body, and we only allow people whom we are intimate with to enter this distance. Intimate distance, meaning to say that, for example, maybe your family, maybe your close friend, it depends on the person who are very close to you. So regarding this intimate distance, only certain people that they can stand or sit or stay close to you, right? Not all. And for the personal distance, it is the second circle, and this distance is estimated to be about 1.5 to 4 feet from our body. Close acquaintances and friends communicate within this distance, and group discussion usually occurs in this distance. So, comparing personal distance and intimate distance, you know who would be grouped into the intimate distance group of people, yeah? And who is the group of people that can be grouped under the personal distance. And for the social distance, it is the third circle, and the certain distance is approximately between 4 and 12 feet. Casual acquaintances interact with this distance. And lastly, public distance. You look at the term public. So this is the final circle and the distance in which we interact with strangers. All right. So here, according to these 4 types of distance, it relates to the environmental dimension in the category of space and territory. So by referring to your scenes, the scene that you select to be analyzed, you need to look at the character in the scenes. Which type of or category for space and territory specifically that the character is related to. Let's say you say that the character is having the personal distance, and this is because of when you understand the context of personal distance, then you can figure out or you can analyze. And this is because of the big Y. If you still remember last time, WHY. You need to mention the reason for your analysis so that it's not going to be a surface kind of discussion. And then we continue with the same category, space and territory. Another aspect of space and territory can be discussed in terms of seating arrangement, shape of meeting table, who sits next to whom, and it is termed as group ecology. For example, seating arrangement. Basically, leader of the discussion of the meeting is expected to be seated at the head of the table, which is the central position. Important person is expected to be seated closer to the leader, the secretary, for example, or person who take note the session. Group members are expected to sit cross each other, where it allows them to respond as they are facing each other's face. So this is one of the example in terms of seating arrangement. And then shape of meeting table. Basically, when we use round table discussion, it will maximizes the communication between group members and promote a sense of equality. If you still remember, we highlight this element before in terms of group format. Each member's personal space is extended, while rectangular table discussion controls the flow of the discussion as there will be some regulation from the leader. Each member's personal space is minimized. Last time we discussed about this, everyone, for the discussion format. When we do some comparison, we did the comparison between round table and rectangular table. As this is relate to the element of nonverbal communication in the category of space and territory. And then number 3, who sits next to whom, relate to the space and territory. Basically, dominant people who assert their personal space sits next to whom they like. Introverted person sits according to the availability of the seat, as he or she does not assert his or her personal space. So I think you have some experience, let's say in class. You know, some people when they enter the class, they consider, especially on the first row, second row, which is, we can see that at the front of the setting arrangement. Some people, when they enter the class, they prefer to sit at the back. This is one of the things show the what we call the way the person mentioned indirectly his feeling, emotion in terms of nonverbal communication. So that's why we have two terms, extrovert and introvert. Basically, we can see that for extrovert person, they prefer to sit at the front. This is because of they prefer to interact with the teacher, the lecturer, or like to interact with the whole class for some time. While for the introvert, they prefer to sit at the back, for example. This is because of they want to limit their interaction with the class session, right? So this is some example. And then artifacts and object. And this is another category, everyone. Just now we have space and territory. Next is artifact and objects. Artifacts and objects furnish nonverbal cues to the discussions of participants of the meeting. By understanding the nonverbal cues, we will be able to understand the environment we are in. So, what is artifact and objects in the simple words? It means that what are the elements surround the person? What are the object element close to the person? For example, in a formal meeting, we have name tags, long rectangular table, files, paintings in the wall, and etc. While for informal meeting, round table is preferred to maximize the flow of the communication. So this is the object. For example, name tag, long rectangular table, round table, files, painting, and artifact and object in meeting or discussion are necessary as they influence the group's effectiveness. Uh, this element will give effect. I mean, if it's not a big effect, it might give at least an effect to the session. For example, paper, pens, flip charts, and so on. This is other element under the artifacts and object that reflect or the effects the person in the session in terms of the nonverbal communication. And last category under the environmental dimension is time. Time is an important factor in group functioning. If a group member is absent from the meeting or discussion, it creates a negative impression that he or she does not care, which can jeopardize the trust within the team. Impromptu meetings are not recommended as not all the members would be able to attend with a short notice, and this will threaten the relationship of the group members. So what is impromptu meeting, everyone? We have impromptu speech. In this case, impromptu meeting. The word impromptu say that without preparation. Let's say your friend asks you to attend a meeting in a short time at 8 o'clock, let's say. They send you a WhatsApp. Hello everyone, we are about to have a meeting at 8:30 a.m. So please be there. What happened? So of course you have your own plan on that day, right? Maybe you have class at that time. So it's a short notice. You don't have much time to like plan, reschedule everything. So you're not able to join the session. So it's impromptu meeting. And of course at the end, for some time, it will affect the relationship of the group members. And this is due to um, people that not able to give the commitment in the session, right? Hopefully everyone understand. If everyone understand this, then the session will be able to it's a smooth session, and they can consider others who are not able to attend because of their own plan or their own commitment on the day. And regular meetings should be conducted to increase or enhance cohesion within and between groups in the organization. Speaking time is crucial in a group discussion because the group has to complete every item on an agenda. So two types of meeting, impromptu and regular meeting, right? Okay, so we go to another type of dimension, personal dimension. So related to the environmental dimension just now, anything you would like to ask in case before we continue with personal dimension? In case any question. Okay. Um, okay, no question. I continue, all right. Personal dimension. For personal dimension, we are focusing to three type of category. The first is paralanguage, second is kinesics, and the third is gaze, right? So you need to know each one of these before you relate that to your analysis of the scenes. So paralanguage is defined as the sounds a person makes that accompany his or her verbal message. Paralanguage includes your intonation, high or low intonation, pitch, loudness or volume, speech rate, and fluency. Of course, there are differences when people met at you. The way they speak to you is different compared to the normal way they speak to you, right? In terms of their intonation, let's say, you can see that there are two different situations. When people met at you, what happened to their intonation, everyone? Is that going to be a normal intonation? Is that going to be a low intonation? How about the loudness of the volume? How about the fluency, the pitch use? Of course, different, right? So a listener's apprehension of an individual's verbal message is influenced by the sounds made by the individual. Emotional nuances can also be determined through the sound. For example, your friend might verbally say congratulations as if he or she is happy for your achievement, but the sound of her voice might say otherwise. So it's like saying congratulations with different way or different, sound. So she is not happy for you or she invites your achievement. Try to compare this. Congratulations, John. And congratulations, John. Like she or he might not really want to say or want to congratulate you, but maybe just to say something, and you might feel something according that. What happened? You might feel like, did she or did he really congratulate me just now? Is that he just want to like, like saying something that I don't understand? There will be inquiries or questions in your mind relating to that. But if people really want to congratulate you, they would say, congratulations, something like that. The intonations is different, right? The pitch or the loudness of volume is different. So this is related to the paralanguage, or this item of how you make a sound when you say something. Paralanguage is best interpreted in context of communication as to avoid miscommunication, right? So once again, yeah, everyone, the intonations of your voice is grouped under the non-verbal communication. It's not verbal communication. Verbal is what you say, but intonation can be grouped under the non-verbal communication. So don't misunderstand, don't mix together. What you say or what is the content in your speaking time and the intonation is two different type of verbal and non-verbal communication. Okay, and below are some example of paralanguage. Intonation plays an important role in establishing an individual's credibility. A speaker who varies his or her intonation is deemed credible than a person who speaks monotonously. I believe you have attended a certain program, workshop, speech conducted by others, So you can see how the person speak in the session. They use varies of intonation compared to a person who use the same intonation, or in this word we use monotonously intonation. So which one or which type of speaker you prefer to hear? I believe most of the time people would say that speaker with the varies of intonation, because from there it shows the variety of ideas shared by the speaker, and the way the speaker highlight certain element, example, ideas, point in his speech is different. A variety of his speech presented to the audience. So intonation is very important. Same goes to your presentation, everyone. When you present, you use different kind of intonation. Certain word you highlight, you increase your voice. For example, certain words you slow down the explanation, the use of word. So from there we can see it different with people who speak monotonously. When people speak monotonously, one of the reason they read. Apart from that, they are, like, I can say that most of the time because of they read. But if they don't read, they have the idea, and then they explain by using their own words, they can speak without monotonous sound, right? So in other words, monotonous sound or speech or presentation can make it boring session for your audience. When you speak something, it's like the same sound. This house is built because of like no intonation. But if you heard people, a good or best speaker, let's say, when they discuss about topic, they will use or they will vary their intonation in the speech. I would like to suggest all of you go to the TED.com website. TED.com website. So from here you can see varieties of speech presented by lots of speakers from all over the world, and you can see how they use or varies their intonation, the way they explain the ideas. So from there, it's very effective way of presenting their ideas. And when a person is being sarcastic, it can be clearly heard in the voice. This word, sarcastic. Just now, when people congratulate you, congratulations, John, and another person, congratulations, something like that, you can identify or you can see that there is sarcasm in the use of word or intonation. They use the same word, the same content of their speak, but the way they use the intonation is different. So you can see, oh, this person really want to say some congratulations to me, while this person maybe he's not happy for my achievement, for example. And then when people or someone is angry or exert dominance, he or she speaks louder and the pitch goes up. In common, we tend to lower our pitch when we are sad and increase the pitch when we are joyful. I think we know or you know about this element. When you are sad, how you speak to others. It's not going to be a very same with a joyful moment, right? When you're sad, sometimes we not even can hear what you are talking to us, what you're trying to say. You will slow down your voice, your intonation. Okay, and then when an individual wants to emphasize the importance of his or her point, the volume of the voice increase. I say should be like this, like this. I in our speech or in our discussion just now, this should be like this, to emphasize the importance of his or her point. Back channel sounds such as uh, I everyone use this. It's a normal. Because you are generating the idea, you're thinking on what going to be said on the next stage. These are produced to show engagement and understanding in the conversation or discussion. Sometimes when we want to be agree with someone, we are about to say something to show our agreement to the person. So sometimes we take time, like something like that, before you say, it should be something like this, like this. And hesitation noises can be divided into vocalized pauses such as uh, and empty pauses. This even small thing done in a conversation, it leaves different impact to you and of course to the person that you speak to. From there they can identify whether you agree, whether you disagree, whether you want to support their ideas, whether you want to object the ideas by generating other points and so on. The noises affect the fluency of speech delivery. When a person is tense or anxious, he or she uses hesitation noises to fill voids. For example, when you do your presentation, everyone, you have prepared your idea or point to be elaborated in the session, but you are quite nervous, right? So when you're nervous, when you want to say something, it's a bit delay in terms of the word use, in terms of, you might pause a bit for some time in your presentation. So you might say, something. And some people, people don't know. Rather than you say, just keep silent, where we call it as empty pauses, like give some time to yourself, before you continue with the following ideas. Okay, and the following part, kinesics. What is kinesics? Just now for the paralanguage, it referred to the sound that you use in your speaking session when you do the conversation with others. Now, kinesics. Kinesics is another word we use to mention as a facial expression. Facial expression. So emotions of an individual can be interpreted from their facial expression. Now, I can say that this is one of the things that very clear to show whether you agree, disagree with others. From your face, people know that you cannot hide the feeling. If you say that you agree with the person, but your face is going to show something different. So this is what we mean by it's a reflection. You cannot hide it. It will happen indirectly, happen without you cannot control that. People can see that, right? Emotions of individual can be interpreted from the facial expression. How can you disagree with someone, at the same time you smile to them? Yes, I agree with you. But people still can see that you are not agree with them. You're smiling, but there's a sarcasm in that action, right? So people can see that. So what I mean to say is that your action is not relate with your word use. So people can see that. Common emotions such as happiness, sadness, anger, disagreement, agreement, and frustration are expressed in the group discussion or when we speak to others. And see some example: anger, disgust, fear, joy, sadness, surprise. Some example. Actually, we have a varieties of facial expression. All right. So kinesics is a facial expression. And apart from that, hand, arm gestures, and total body movement also relate to the kinesics, where we can see that kinesics is relate to what happened to your body when you speak. So one of that is facial expression. Other than that, your hand gesture, your arm gestures, and some part of your body movement. So these nonverbal cues not only indicate a person's expression, but also the enthusiasm she or he has towards the topic of discussion. Nonverbal behaviors are ambiguous and should be interpreted accordingly. We tend to point fingers if we want to emphasize on a particular point. Folding the arms, crossing the leg might show a member's attitude towards the group. If you're open towards ideas or the point by others, basically your body language is showing that you are open towards to receive the ideas. But if you're not agree with others, your body language show relate to that situation. Folding the arms, crossing the legs. For some time, it show that you are close towards the idea proposed by others, meaning to say that you are not ready to accept their idea, to accept their proposed idea or point. Posture, your posture, when you sit or when you stand, look at your posture. The position in which you hold your body while standing, sitting or lying down. When a person sits up straight, it could mean that he or she is paying attention to the person who speaks, or he's interested in the discussion. Whereas when a person slouches, he or she might indicate lack of interest or unconcerned. So you can see that. And I believe all of you here, you have gone through numbers of discussion, numbers of meeting, whether in the context of a student or in the context of, maybe you have what we call the other programs outside UUM, for example, whether it's a formal, informal discussion, you can see this kind of element. And lastly, for the personal dimension, your eye contact. So it's not related to the kinesics just now. Kinesics, anything related to your body language, but to be focused, we have another term or category which is gaze or eye contact. But still, this is in terms of personal dimension. Personal dimension relate to the speaker or the individual. Eye contact shows openness in communication. When you look down or away during a conversation, it may suggest avoidance, lack of interest, or disagreement. Have you ever been in a situation where you discuss with your friend, you speak towards them an idea or point, but they are doing their own stuff, checking their phone, for example, at the same time? They speak to you, but they knock their head, but they're looking on the other side. Yes, 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 but they're looking on the other side. What do you feel? It's a bit, for me personally, I might feel like he's not paying attention to what I'm saying about. Yes, he knocks the head, but he don't he or she did not gain the idea on what I'm going to highlight. So if people speak to you, focus to them, you know. If you got something to do, just hold for a while. Hold for a while. You cannot speak to two persons at the same time. No, you can, but it will give an impact to the person who's speaking to you. They might feel that you are not concentrate to them. They might feel that their idea is not supported or um, praised by the person, and this might lack in terms of the communication, two-way communication of this person, even though the person sit next to you, close to you, but the intention or the attention focus is not there. Prolonged eye contact can display sign of collaboration, competitiveness, or rudeness, depend on the context of the conversation. Eye contact showing others that you are listening to them, as eye contact establishes connection between the speakers and the listener. Appropriate eye contact helps in building trust among the group members. Okay, that's the end of the session for chapter 6, everyone. Any question? So just now we are referring to two types of dimension or two types of category of nonverbal communication, both personal and environmental dimension. And for each one of them, we have three elements, which is personal dimension, we have kinesics, paralanguage, and gaze. And for the environmental, we have space and territory, object and artifacts, and time. So these are the things that you need to relate that with your analysis, all right? And make sure that your analysis discuss in a critical or in detail of explanation, because that is the analysis. When you analyze something, you will analyze what made this happen, or what is the, as a result of this kind of situation, what is the cause for this, right? And I think I've mentioned last class, according to the element that you should look related to the task. Don't write a surface or too general kind of writing. I'm not going to use the word analysis because when we refer to the word analysis, term of analysis, it is a critical writing. It's a complete or details writing related to the task. If you just write too general writing, it's not analysis itself, right? If it's too general, then you're not analyzing in detail of explanation. Any other question maybe related to this? Any question? So, everyone, on the following class, we are going to focus to chapter 7, and inshallah, we will focus to continue our discussion with chapter 8 before your presentation of movie scenes analysis. Yeah, so presentation of movie scenes analysis will be conducted by week 13. I think I've mentioned or we discussed about the presentation time, but we don't discuss in detail yet regarding the assessment form and everything. But that is the plan, right? That is the plan. So next week is week 12. Inshallah, we will cover chapter 7 and chapter 8 for each class. Sunday and Wednesday. And then on week 13, for the two classes, we will focus to your movie scenes presentation. And then for week 14 is your quiz itself, right? Quiz on Tuesday. So Sunday, at least we have some time to discuss about the format of question, sample of question. Later I'll share with you. Hopefully everything will be based on the plan. And what left is, please study at the same time when you are preparing the assignment. Please study the chapter, alright? Hopefully everything will be based on the plan, inshallah. So when we have what we call the quiz on Tuesday, right? It wrapped up our discussion. It wrapped up the course discussion for the semester, right? Anything else that maybe you would like to ask in case? Any question maybe? Please give me some time to share with you the QR code, right? Okay, I think there's a questions on the chat box. For the presentation slide, no need. Just prepare that for your reference in the presentation. Okay. So in this case, if you don't want to prepare slide for your presentation, also no problem. All right, you can choose whether you want to prepare slide for presentation or no. It's okay. But you no need to submit the slide, only the report. Okay. So if you're able to scan and if you don't have any questions, you can leave the session. We meet again on the following class with the discussion of chapter 7 and 8. For chapter 7 and 8 discussion, I'll prepare a set of questions to be asked to all of you. So please be ready with the chapter, right? So we meet again next class. Until then, Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Have a nice day.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, madam.